Alright, what is up, everybody? We are back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today, we have episode 2 of season 3 of the Look-In series. If you don't know what it is, it's a series where at the end of each team season, look back at their year, talk about things that were right, wrong, look at the future, basically look in at what this team is doing. Today's one is on the Washington Wizards. We're going to talk all about them here in today's video. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. Really upset a lot. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, getting closer and closer as the days go on. So all support around the channel be very much appreciated. Link to my Twitter and all that stuff down in the description below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So the Washington Wizards, episode 2 of season 3 of the Look-In. This year they're going to finish with potentially the worst record in the league. They're going to win 17-64 right now. They haven't played their final game yet, but they're probably going to be 17-65. Maybe they win 18, who knows? But they're going to be one of the worst teams in the league and the worst team in the Eastern Conference for the second year in a row. No, sorry, last year was the Detroit Pistons. They finished second worst last year. But the Wizards, yeah, they did what they were supposed to do, which is tank, and go capture the flag. That's what they've done this season. I mean, they went a whole month of November without winning a game. They've had, what, 2 separate 16-game losing streaks this season. But once it turned around February, things actually started to be better. I mean, obviously, they still were bad, and they still went on a couple, 3 separate 5-game losing streaks, which they're currently on a 5-game losing streak right now to end the year. But they didn't look as garbage, as early in the year, which I guess is better. And honestly, when you think about the Washington Wizards, you think about them being bad. You think about them tanking right now, and if you talk to the casual fan, they probably can't name more than 2 or 3 people, if that, on the Washington Wizards roster. And I was someone that said early in the year, I was like, are the Wizards actually, they're on this big losing streak, but are things actually going well for them? Like, is this good for this team? Like, who knows? But looking more and more and more into the season and look at this team more, I don't think the Wizards are in a very bad position. I honestly think the Wizards might be in a pretty decent, it's nice position for the future. You know, looking at some of their guys that have really popped off this year, Jordan Poole has had a big comeback after having a really bad year last year in his first year at Washington. It took a year for him to adjust to being the guy, and this year he looked pretty good. I mean, 20 points per game, 4.5 assists, shot better from the field, has some big 30, 40-point nights, clutch shots, and he looked a lot more up to par and looked more like the Jordan Poole that we thought we were going to see last year, this year. So Jordan Poole looking back and looking more like the old Jordan Poole is a lot better. Alex Sarr, their rookie, their second overall pick, didn't have the most flashiest or craziest second rookie season, but he showed some flashes, and especially for the last, I feel like 2 months ish, he started to really come into form. Being a solid 3-point shooter. We already know what he can do on the defensive end. He's got really high defensive potential, putting the ball on the floor a lot more, looking a lot more comfortable scoring the ball. And so you have something there with Alex Sarr. Bilal Coulibaly, he had a really good start to this year, kind of faded off near the end of it. But I really like what Bilal Coulibaly can be for the future of this team, being a two-way wing that can, defend very, very well. And then offensively has potential to put the ball on the floor, being very athletic and get to the rim. The 3-point shooting still being worked on, but there's potential there with Bilal Coulibaly. Bub Carrington, your other first-round pick from this year who you traded for, looked pretty good. Has some scoring opportunities, has some big moments in big games, and show that, he's got a bag to him potentially for the future. Even your other first-round pick, Keyshawn George. He showed the potential to be a sniper, a really solid offensive player. And what I like about him is he has confidence. Keyshawn George will pull it no matter what, and they have confidence over there. Even some of the other guys, they brought in A.J. Johnson in the Kyle Kuzma trade, the trade deadline, and A.J. Johnson even showed some flashes. Being a very young first-round pick that didn't really get a lot of playing time in Milwaukee, went over to Washington to show, to get some more minutes, and he actually looked pretty decent as a big guard that can handle the ball, can get to the rim, shows a lot of flash to be a creator. So you have something there with him. Yeah, there's a lot going on with this Wizards team. They have a lot of things going for it. The Kyle Kuzma trade, they finally got rid of Kyle Kuzma, which is what I was begging and pleading for them the entirety of the season. They brought in Chris Middleton and Marcus Smart at the trade deadline. Those are 2 pretty nice veterans. 2 guys that have won No, Marcus Smart hasn't won a championship, unfortunately. He didn't win that championship last year with Boston, but 2 guys that have been on, long playoff runs many, many times, been on really good teams a lot of times, and aren't really going to get in the way. Like, Marcus Smart isn't taking the ball out of Jordan Poole and them's hands and be like, hey, let me get mine. Chris Middleton's not taking the ball out of these guys' hands and say, hey, let me get mine. Those are 2 guys that could come in and bring a lot of experience and also have something to prove a little bit, where if they play well Washington next year, probably get their trade value up and get back to a playoff team. So those guys, I really like the veteran, leadership brought in there. They still have guys like Justin Champagne, they signed to a regular contract. Colby Jones, I really liked coming out of Xavier. I think maybe he can show something here in Washington. There's a lot of good things happening in Washington right now. And even though the record or anything might not suggest that, I really like what this Wizards future can be, especially if they get this draft pick where they're going to have really good odds of getting a top pick. And I feel like they're one of the teams that are very, very desperate at top three. I mentioned in the Utah video too. You can go back and watch episode 1 of this, which was on the Jazz. They're a top 3 team that, when it talks about ranking the teams that need the number 1 overall pick in this lottery, the Wizards are near the top, in the top 3. And honestly, when I talk about Cooper Flag destinations, I think Washington might be number 1. I honestly really would love to see Cooper Flag in Washington with the Wizards. You know, like they already have so many good, again, Alex Sarr, Bilal Coulibaly, Bub Carrington. These are all good players. I don't think they're centerpieces of the future for this team. You add in Cooper Flag to this team, and I really like a potential future of Jordan Poole, Bub Carrington, Jordan Poole, Bilal, Coop, and Sarr. However they pan out in terms of positioning and stuff. Also having Keyshawn George, you have AJ Johnson. Like I really like that future, especially a Bilal, Cooper, Alex Sarr defensive line right there at the 3, 4, and 5. I think could be wonders for this future of this team, and they can really build their infrastructure on defense first. Like honestly, when talking about Cooper Flag destinations, I honestly would love to see him in Washington because I feel like you put him in here in Washington, things kind of fill out really nice. Where you have Cooper Flag as our guy, you have Alex Sarr, a guy that could be a two-way threat, you know, out there with him. Bilal Coulibaly, another defensive wing that has some offense potential. Jordan Poole could be a scorer. Bub Carrington could be a scorer. Who knows what we have in AJ Johnson. Keyshawn George could be a shooter out there. You also have Corey Kispert still on this team, who's a really nice role player. Especially next year, you have Chris Middleton and Marcus Smart can help him out. Like, I think that would be an amazing spot for Cooper Flag, honestly. Like, let me know what you think. But I honestly would love to see Cooper Flag in Washington. I think that might be one of the best spots for him. Where they have a lot of good things surrounding him. They have some good young players. You add Cooper to this team. I like it. It moves me for this Wizards future. But yeah, I'm surprised. Surprisingly, I like this Wizards future that they have, man. I really do. I like a lot of the players on this team. Obviously, it's on the coaching staff and the Wizards organization to really move this team in the right direction, obviously, which I don't know how much I trust in that, obviously, because it's the Wizards who gave were they the ones? I don't know if they have new ownership. Did they give Bradley Beal the crazy contract? I'm not sure. But there's some good things going on in Washington, man. There's really some good things going on in Washington. Look at the money situation. Chris Middleton's got a $34 million player option. Obviously, he's going to be back on the team next year. Jordan Poole is extension eligible. Who knows? What happens there. Yeah, and then I don't think they don't have to worry about a rookie or anything for another couple years. So they're going to have, like time to really develop this team. And if they do get a Cooper Flag, that'd be nice. Let's say they don't get a Cooper Flag though. Is Dylan Harper the pick? Even though you just picked Bub Carrington, you have Jordan Poole. Yeah, I mean for the Wizards, they're a team that just needs talent. The Wizards just need as much talent as possible. So whatever pick they end up, I feel like they just have to go with best player and best talent available. Whether that's Cooper, if they get the number 1 pick, obviously. If they don't get the number 1 pick, get 2 or 3. Dylan Harper, maybe an Ace Bailey. Who knows? Even though you do have Bilal, you have Sarr, you have a lot of wings over there. Maybe Ace Bailey could be the guy. Maybe a VJ Edgecombe even could be a guy over there. Maybe if somehow they fall a little bit deeper, can Kamal Maluach be a guy? You have Maluach and Sarr as your front court for the future. Who knows? There's some different options, but I think the Wizards are in a good spot, man. I really do. I think the Wizards are in a better spot than what people realize and what people think. People think of Washington, people think of the Wizards, and they think of dumpster fire, which they still are only going to win 17 games. And I'm not saying Cooper Flag adds to this team and all of a sudden they're a 45-win team like the Pistons. I'm not saying any of that. I'm not saying all of a sudden next year they're a playoff team. Like that's unrealistic expectations to put in this team. What the Pistons did this year is like an anomaly, so don't expect that to be something normal, But I'm saying this team has a better future and a better outlook where you look at it in a couple years and be like, huh, this isn't as bad as maybe last year when we thought, how are the Wizards ever going to be good ever again? There's a blueprint here. It's a small blueprint, but it's there. We just need to keep filling out the pieces to this puzzle to eventually get better. And if they do get Cooper Flag, obviously that's a huge piece to add to this puzzle. That makes things so much differently. But even if they don't, if they do get a Dylan Harper, they do get an Ace Bailey or Kaman Maluach, if they do get one of those guys, I still think that helps out a whole lot. Just having talent on this Wizards team, I feel it could go a long way. And the Wizards, again, are one of those teams that, in terms of maybe talent, they're one of the bottom of the league, if not potentially the bottom of the league in terms of just talented players on their roster. So getting a guy in Washington that is talented and maybe potentially build around, depending on what pick they get, does wonders for this team. But yeah, I really like what I see for the Wizards here. And I think their future is a lot better than what people realize. We just got to wait and see what draft pick they get, because I think that can determine so many different things. And a Cooper Flag destination, I think this is Cooper Flag destination number one for me personally, is Washington. But we'll see what happens and for the future of the Wizards. But yeah, it's going to be it today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. Really upset a lot. Once again, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so all the support on our channel be very much appreciated. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.